The government in Fiji is struggling to reach isolated communities after the nation was struck by Cyclone Winston. The death toll now stands at least 42 and is expected to rise. Some villages have hardly any buildings left standing, and more than 8,000 people are still sheltering in evacuation centres. Planes from Australia and New Zealand are beginning to arrive with food, water and medical supplies. And we have Andrew Thomas live for us in Fiji covering the efforts there. Andrew, how are things progressing right now in terms of those efforts to get aid to the people who need it most?
Well, the people who need it most are the people who are living on islands like the one I'm stood on right now, the island of Ovalau. It's one of the outlying islands that there was no news from for about 2 or even for the first 3 days after the cyclone, which struck on Saturday night Fiji time. I'm here seeing the devastation, and it really is quite remarkable. I mean, there are villages up and down the coastline of this small island where there is perhaps one building still standing. Even the buildings that everybody was sheltering in just up the road from where I'm stood, a church, 40 people were in it. Suddenly they all ran, and less than 2 minutes later the whole thing collapsed, killing one woman. Thankfully, the other 39 managed to get out alive, but the damage here is quite remarkable. I mean, you see a little bit of it just behind me. In fact, we've chosen this place, that place I should say, because it is still relatively intact. You can still see walls even if the roof has gone, but you get the basic idea that there was something there. But there are other places where it's just rubble strewn across the ground. And in the background there, a ship that was moored 5 kilometres from where I'm stood, and the winds swept it down and onto the rocks just here. The authorities, as you say, are slowly, very slowly, too slowly many would say, getting to some of the outlying islands. The news is coming through. Most of the deaths happened on Saturday when the cyclone hit. The reason the death toll is slowly rising is because news is finally coming from those islands. Helicopters are getting there. I came to this island by boat. Boats are managing to get through as well. Despite that rising death toll, though, it is lower so far than had been feared when this cyclone first struck. And the devastation here means it's quite remarkable that relatively few have died. I know of at least 2 deaths certainly on this island. I've spoken to relatives. I've heard about a further 1. But if it is only 3 people who died on this island, I say only guardedly, of course, but that's remarkably few given the amount of devastation on this island. And this is repeated on right across Fiji's island, so a pretty sorry scene. As you say, though, aid is slowly getting through. 46 soldiers arrived on this island yesterday, Tuesday, on the same boat that we came in on. They are at the moment just doing very basic cleanup, but over the next few days they will get out to some of the villages that at the moment are inaccessible because bridges are down, but they should get to them by boat, and they should be able to help in some way. The smoke you can see going across the camera between me and you, well, that's people burning all the rubble that has come out of their houses, the detritus from their homes, now going up in smoke.
All right, Andrew, thanks for that. Andrew Thomas live for us there in Fiji.